Hey everybody, so today we're talking with Dave Snowberger with LPT Realty. And him and I are going to do a friendly agent debate of LPT versus Real Broker, where we're going to take turns explaining the different benefits and the models of the company. And my whole goal with this is that I want to provide as accurate information about these two companies to you. And I think there's no better way to do that than actually have agents from the two companies explaining the model. And by all means, if at the end of this video you think that LPT Realty may be a better fit for you, I'll provide all of Dave's contact information and you can feel free to reach out to him. If you think that Real may be a good fit for you, have all my contact information. I'd love to have a conversation with you about Real Broker as well. Dave, how you doing today?
I'm good, hanging in here, man. Dealing with this crazy market, getting going again.
Yeah, man, I get it. 2024 is going to be a good year, man. 2023 was a rough year for a lot of agents, but inflation's under control. Interest rates are coming down. It's going to be a good year. I can feel it. Yeah, so let's just jump right in, man. Can you tell me a little bit about what attracted you to LPT Realty in the first place?
Okay, so I'll give you a little bit of backstory. I was very happy with Keller Williams. Had been with Keller Williams for about 6 years. Had a nice little team going, great little model, but then started to hear the EXP stuff, right? So like we all did. Decided to give EXP a shot, leave over there. And from there, that transitioned into the business growing even more. EXP was a great place to plug into. And then right after that, I got recruited by Compass, and Compass dangled a carrot in front of me that was a big payday. Right now, I didn't understand. Just kind of like, you're going to pay me to sell real estate? Like, that's absolutely crazy. I've got to take this deal, you know? And so I did that. And that was probably the worst mistake I made, was making a switch away from a cloud-based style brokerage with so much freedom. So I decided I was going to go back to EXP. And then right before I did, I wanted to see what Real had to offer. And I think that I might've talked to the wrong people at Real. And then all of a sudden LPT joined the picture. And so I just laid all three down on paper pretty much, and which one would benefit me more. And the year we're having in the year we had in 2023, LPT kind of won out because they had that business builder model that was 100% commission and really no monthly fees or anything. It wasn't going to really cost me anything to switch. And after 2023, I was trying to save every penny I had because I adjusted to the lifestyle that we had for the 7-8 years previously, right? So 2023 became a game of dipping into savings and things like that. So LPT, that's what won out right there.
Just the savings. And so you joined doing the business builder model. Are you still in the business builder model? Are you doing the rev share?
No, I've already made the switch over. It served its purpose because I had a few things in my pipeline. So I was able to retain a little bit more commission. And then once I looked at it and the amount of attraction that was happening, the agents I was bringing in, I thought that it outweighed. I was in a position better to switch over to the 80-20 model. So the traditional brokerage model there. And I wanted the higher stock, which we'll get into in rev share. I wanted the opportunity to make more rev share. And I just think that the 80-20 model was a better fit for me.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Very cool, man. Appreciate you sharing that. And so for me, kind of my background with Real is that, you know, I got out of the Air Force 2017, went full-time as an agent with Keller Williams Realty. And I loved all Gary Keller's books and his leadership. But I was instantly doing a lot of video. As soon as I got into this industry, I had YouTube channels in 2017 that were generating me business, really active on social media. And for me, Keller Williams just wasn't really up to speed with video and social media, especially back then. And kind of through video, I made a lot of friends. A lot of agents in this industry also really focus on video. And in 2020, 2021, a lot of my really close friends joined Real Broker. And so what really attracted to me was just the focus on technology and video, and really just the culture of the company. You know, I'm really a big believer in like love and gratitude. And I love that one of the core values of Real is work hard, be kind. There's not very many companies that really talk about being kind as like a core value of their company. And so that's kind of how I ended up here at Real. I've been here about 3 years now and loving it. The best decision I ever made in my in my career. So let's jump into the costs and fees at both companies. You mind kind of breaking down you have two different business models, two different tracks that agents can take, the business builder and the rev share partner. Can you kind of break down the costs and fees of each of those and maybe the benefits of each of those models?
Sure. Yeah, so we have what we refer to as agent choice. So once you join the company, you've decided to join LPT, you can pick your commission plan. Not a lot of brokers offer that. I actually don't know of any. However, the business builder model is, we present it as a 100% cap. Typically, my conversation with anybody that says they have a 100% cap is, what's the catch? Because nobody has a 100% comp plan. And so I want to know more about that. It was a $5,000 cap. So basically what that broke down to was $500 per transaction, up to 10 transactions, with a $195 transaction fee on every single one. So for any commission, whether it's over $2,500 or $10,000, you're paying $695 into the system. And so that comes with no monthly fees. There's no tech fees. There's no any type of fees whatsoever, other than the E&O fee that's assessed at your first deal you do every year. So $500, then the $500 cap, then the $195. So your first deal of the year, of your restart date or the year you join, is $1,195 right off the bat.
Okay.
Makes sense? And then it's $500 or $695 per transaction, up to 10 transactions. And then your 11th transaction all the way until your year restart is $195 per transaction. So that puts you pretty much at the closest plan I've seen to 190 or to a 100% commission that I've seen out there so far.
Okay. And so if my math's correct, if you're selling 10 deals a year, $695 times 10 plus the $500, so it's about $7,400 a year to sell 10 deals a year. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely very competitive, very, very affordable for a lot of agents. And so with this one, you don't get access to the rev share, and you don't get access to the majority of the stocks. Is that right? Is there anything else in the business you don't get access to with the business builder versus the rev share partner?
Everything's the same. You still receive the stock. However, you are correct on the rev share. You do get, you're plugged into the rev share model. So you can see what you're making in rev share. However, you can't receive it.
Okay.
So once your rev share surpasses basically the $5,000, you're bringing in $6,000 a year off rev share, it might be time to make the switch.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gives you that. So you can actually switch between the two comp plans, the 100% model with the $5,000 cap, over to the 80/20 once a year, once every rolling, basically 12 months from the time you made the switch the first time. So I joined as the business builder back in November. I switched over to the 80/20. And so that means next November, if I want to, I can switch back over to the business builder 100% cap model again, if I want.
Okay. But once you have rev share coming in, you probably don't really want to do that.
Right. Unless you say, we mentioned a little bit there, we're building a great downline. We bring over a brokerage, maybe has 20, 30, 40, 50 people in it. You're receiving rev share from that. They decide to leave, go to real,
Mm-hmm.
go to a competing broker, and they take all that rev share with you. Next thing you know, you're dropped back down. You have no other brokerages or a way to replace those 100 people right off the bat. You might want to switch back then. So I think it's really more presented as a safety net, that if anything happens, if you do build this great rev share, you can back it up and go this way if that rev share ever leaves.
Yeah. Okay. And do you have an idea or an estimate of what percentage of the company it went with the business builder program versus the rev share? Like I imagine it's the majority of the company would be the business
right
builder.
Now. I put everything in the 80/20s, right? When I don't know the specifics or the actual stats, I just look at everything 80/20. So there's got to be at least 80% of the company at this time that is in the business builder model.
Okay.
Oh, I was just going to say, we can look at even the my rev share, my downline, and I look through it. In the majority of them, I don't know the exact number, but I would say it's 95% in my downline. And most people that I've been able to bring over really struggled in 23. And so the 100% model sounds a lot better to them right now.
Yeah. That is interesting how like maybe in a struggling year, kind of a down market, they probably do see a lot more growth of agents trying to save, a little bit more money with
Yeah.
that. So maybe, in 2024, if the year is really good, maybe they'll get more rev share partners versus the business builder one. That's interesting.
I think
Okay.
so. And I think like any model like you have, that Real has, or maybe EXP has, is I in a sense bring in what I have to offer agents that, I do attract to the company, and what can I pour into them to make them sell more real estate where it's beneficial for them to switch over to 80/20.
Mhm.
Is it time for them to maybe build a team? Every team leader here has to be on the 80/20 model. That is not, the business builder is not an
Mm,
option if you're a team leader.
gotcha.
And so at least that person has to be on the 80/20. And so it's more beneficial for us to just pour into our downlines that are in the 100% model and get them selling more real estate. So it does, so it does grow, and they can switch into that where they feel more comfortable with the 80/20 model.
Okay. And did I hear somewhere, I heard this somewhere, let me know if it's accurate, that in order for you to receive rev share, you have to actually cap with the company first. Is that true?
It feeds your rev share. And so you're correct. And so we're a real estate first model, which means they didn't necessarily want to model themselves after a certain other company of
Yeah.
the stigma they had that everybody's a recruiter. I have to go recruit. They want you selling real estate here. So one, to even receive rev share, you'll need to sell I believe you have to have three closings
Oh,
in
wow.
your
Okay.
12-month period. So you have to sell 3 properties or have 3 closings for you to receive it. And then once you start receiving it, it does feed your rev share. And so if I made $1,000 a month off my rev share, it's going to go towards my cap.
Gotcha.
So now I've heard, I probably shouldn't say anything, but I've heard through the grapevine that they're looking at changing that, because there's a lot of people that really want the multiple sources of income for a reason. They want their commission to be one thing, their rev share to be another thing. And so I know that's been a question, just like, hey, why can't we actually just take our rev share instead of it going to our cap? Because if we're just paying our cap through this, you minimized us at 3 deals. We did what we said we were going to do. Now pay us our rev share and don't take it for the cap. So I know that's a discussion right now. Like I said, that's probably something that's above my pay grade that I shouldn't be talking about. Might frustrate some people. However, that's how I understand it. And so that's how it was presented to me. I would really wish they'd actually change that, because if I did get into a mode where all I really wanted to do was build a rev share model, but I'll still do some real estate,
Right.
I don't want all my rev share being up by a cap.
And so every Real, we have something similar where they want us to be producing agents. And so we need to earn a commission every 6 months in order to qualify as a producing agent. There's at least a $3,000 commission. And after a lot of feedback from the agents, they actually launched a retirement plan where if you're a producing agent for at least 3 years, then you can step out of production and still receive your rev share without having to still produce at that point. So yeah, it's definitely possible for them to kind of add addendums and change things down the road. And we kind of have a similar structure with ours. So let me go ahead and break down the fees and costs here at Real Broker. So we just have really one model. So we have the 85-15 split with a $12,000 a year cap. While you're paying your cap, there is no transaction fee. I think that is one difference between the two companies. Is that right? So if you're with the rev share partner, you're giving them a 20% split. Do you also have to pay the transaction fee on top of that?
Yes. Yeah. There's a $195 fee on top of that.
So yeah, so ours is a little bit different. You don't pay the transaction fee while you're giving your 15% split. After you fully cap, then there is just a $285 transaction fee. And let's see, we also have a $750 annual fee. This gets taken out of your first 3 transactions of the year, $250, $250, $250. We have a one-time $249 sign-up fee. You only ever pay that once. And then we have a $30 E&O insurance fee across the board on all transactions. And then kind of like LPT, we don't have any monthly fees within our company. So other than the sign-up fee, you don't pay anything else until you actually have money coming into your business, which is really helpful. So now let's
Yes,
dive
sir.
into the stock programs of the two companies. And yeah, yours, I've looked at it, and I could definitely be helpful to have an LPT agent kind of explain it to me. So you mind kind of diving into this stock program that you guys have here?
All right. So it's got a 1.4 multiplier on it right now. Actually, today being, I don't know when this will air. However, it's January 31st. So this is the last day of the 1.4 multiplier. That'll all be changing. Let's
Up
just
or
break it down
will it be going
with badges real quick.
up or down? Like what?
Oh, it's definitely going down. It's going down.
Okay, so that's kind
Yeah.
of like an early
Florida.
adoption kind of thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely correct. Early adopter model is what this is called. Florida's is already at a different scale. Texas was the second one to open. We've been at the 1 point. I believe we started about 1.6. It's been adjusted down to 1.4 now. And that's on the rev share plan. If you're on the business builder, it's just even Steven, one share. So only 1x multiplier there. So we could talk about the different levels. Probably would be the most interesting. That if you're on the rev share model, let's start with the business builder first. That seems to be the plan that people are interested in. Is a white badge. As you sell one deal, you get baseline 100 shares of stock.
Okay.
That's not $100. That's 100 shares. So once the shares open, and say they open it, we know it won't happen, but $10, think of it as $1,000 to you. Silver badge, you sell 3 deals, you get another 100 shares. The gold badge, you sell at least 15 deals a year, you get 1,000 shares of stock. And then, sorry, hold on real quick. And then the black badge is where you sell 35 deals a year. You'll get 2,200 shares of stock, right? No, on the business builder, you don't get anything for that.
Can you help me understand what is baseline shares versus business builder shares?
Baseline shares versus business builder shares.
I see two different columns.
The baseline is the 1% multiplier. And so on some of these, some of the business builders have a 1.2 or an early adapter model. However, the way this is reading right now is baseline versus business builder. They're in the same column because it's 1x.
Gotcha. So the 1.4 is how you got to this for the rev share partner. And so that 1.4 multiplier, that's going to be going down a little bit. Gotcha. Okay. So if you're with the business builder, really the main thing you're missing out on is the multiplier and then the black badge. You can only go up to the gold badge of 1,000 shares in the company.
Right. There was a time there where they opened it up that if you were doing 35 deals on the baseline, there was the 2250. However, I'm sorry, I got that completely wrong. The baseline is the baseline. That is where the bar is set. Then you have the business builder. They take away the baseline model for the black badge. But the rev share partner, if you do 35 deals, you get 3,150 shares.
Okay. So this is, okay, cool. And then I was reading this here, gold and black badge core transactions requirements may adjust annually to represent approximately the top eligible 10% and 1% of agents. So that's these two badges here may adjust to be the top 10%, top 1%. Okay. And have they made those adjustments? Is that as an annual thing that they plan on doing?
So not necessarily been talked about as an annual thing. I think it's with the growth of the company.
Okay. And is that the only ways that you earn stock in the company? Is this through production?
We attraction as well. So if you go right below that, you'll have the sponsorship performance awards.
There we go. Okay.
And so you have the baseline basically of 180 shares with the 1x multiplier. And so 180 shares, once your first sponsor or your somebody that you've attracted to the company plugs in, closes their first deal, you get 180 shares of stock. And then on the rev share partner at the 1.4 multiplier, you get the 252.
Cool. Okay, cool. All right. And so the stock right now is not publicly listed anywhere, correct? Do they have an idea of when they'll be eligible to go public with that on like the NASDAQ or something?
It's always, what they say is 18 to 24 months out, and they've been saying that for a little while. However, just in conversations I've had previously with other business owners or other brokerages that have approached me saying, hey, if we hit this number of 5,000 agents, we can do this. If we hit this number of 10,000 agents, it puts us in a much favorable position when it comes to investors, which can make the company worth a lot more once we hit. So I think that's the determining factor right now is once we hit the 10,000 agents, and we've had this hockey stick growth going on for quite some time. 10,000 should be rather easy by the end of February, early March. And then they're going to announce that. And once they do, I believe they're going to be a little bit more serious about talking to investors. And once again, this is my opinion. They'll be a little bit more serious about talking to investors and see what kind of money they can attract. And of course, that would determine when we're going to open, on the NASDAQ. So I think they're going to continue to push the growth at first, knowing that carrot's kind of out there for everybody to, continue to grow, continue to spread the good word of LPT, continue to show agents what we have to offer. And the faster we get to 10,000 and exceed that, it makes us much more favorable to take it, public.
Right. Yeah. Cool, man. I love that. Thank you for sharing. So Real is publicly traded. We got listed on the NASDAQ maybe about 2 years ago. So our ticker symbol is REAX. So right now the stock is worth about $3 a share. And that's actually doubled compared to about 12 months ago. Actually, about 3 months ago, we're sitting at about $1.50 a share. So we've seen a lot of growth in the last, really in the last 12 months or so of our stock. And so we have 4 different ways that you can earn stock in the company. And the first one right now is their stock purchase plan. So you can opt into it. It's completely optional. And if you opt in, you can put 5% of your commission towards buying stock in the company. And if you do that, they'll give you a 10% bonus on top of your purchase for free. After you cap, you can put 10% of your stock into the purchasing, 10% of your commission to purchasing the stock. They'll give you a 20% bonus on top of that. So an instant 20% ROI on your investment. And I love that they do this because this allows anybody to own stock in the company. Even if you close 1, 2, 5 transactions a year, you can opt into this and still own stock into the company. And these numbers are going to change as well, kind of like your multiplier is changing. As the company grows and as the value of the stock, they do adjust some of these. And so you can see right here, this is what the numbers are up to 14,000 agents. We're at 13,000 right now. And so if you pay a $12,000 cap, you'll get 150 shares of stock in the company when you cap for free. And when you attract an agent to the company, you get 75 shares of stock in the company for free. So that's kind of the third way of earning stock. And if you're on a team, you're a team member, you can pay a half a cap, and then all these numbers get reduced by half as well. So 75 shares and 35 shares of stock in the company. And so I've done the math. In order to cap at Real, if you have an average purchase price of $450,000, average commission of 2.5%, it'll take about 7 transactions to fully cap at Real. And that's when you get your 150 shares of stock in the company. And then we have an elite agent program where you can earn up to $24,000 in completely free stock in the company. And so in order to do this, first you need a cap. And like I said, it's on average about 7 transactions. And then you need to pay, there's 2 ways to get there. You can pay $6,000 in post-cap transaction fees, and transaction fees $285. So that works out to an additional 21 transactions after you cap. So at Real, if you hit 28 transactions a year, you'll hit elite agent. The second way is that if your GCI is greater than $500,000 and you have at least 10 transactions. So that's kind of for like these people who sell $2 million properties, right? And have huge GCI, but they don't do a lot of transactions. You can hit elite agent that way as well. And so our elite agent is really broken up into 2 awards. We have our performance award, which is $16,000 for hitting these different numbers. And then we have our cultural award, which you're eligible for if you get the performance award, of $8,000 on top of that. In order to be eligible for that, you just got to teach monthly topics, Real Academy, give back to your Real agent community, or give back to your local community. So altogether, it's $24,000 worth of free stock every year that you can earn in the company. And so these numbers are not going to change. The first 3 ways of earning free stock, that they are going to adjust that as the stock goes up. but these numbers are not going to change. And so that's kind of the 4 ways you can earn free stock in the company. And so about 28 transactions a year to hit elite agent here. And also once you hit that, your transaction fee per transaction gets reduced as well to just $129 per transaction after that. And if you're an elite agent, or sorry, if you're a team leader, it's all based off of how much transaction fees you pay into the company. So if you're a team leader, and let's say you're taking 50% of the commission of your team members, well, then 50% of their transaction fee counts towards your transaction fee cap of $6,000. So if you're a team leader, it is far easier to hit elite agent. You have to do a lot less production because your team's doing the production for you. So yeah, that's our elite agent program, and kind of the 4 ways to earn stock. So let's dive into the revenue share program. Can you kind of touch base on, or kind of go over the revenue share program that they have at LPT Realty? And I'll pull this up for you. Here we go.
All right. So tier 1, tier 2, just the 7 levels, just really kind of same thing I've seen through some of the other brokerages out there. You can certainly see right here the business builder model for every agent you attract that's in the business builder model. If they are a capper, they do the 10 deals a year. Your max you can receive there is $775 per agent, right? Versus if you have agents on the 80/20 model, you can see there $23.25 per agent in your first line, and then it breaks down from there. So if you have somebody in your second tier and they're in the business builder model, as you see right there, $450 per agent. So it significantly goes down to where some of the other cloud-based brokerages that offer rev share, they kind of continue to go up. So they've kind of stacked the front line here. And I think with the business builder model, they were kind of forced to be able to give you, at least if you did have a wide attraction of agents that you brought in, but a majority of them were on the business builder model and in your first line, that you were still able to see some sort of benefit from it.
Right.
You can see as you go down to the tier 7, once you start stacking in there, it goes up a little bit, because it goes drastically down from the 775 to 450, and then 175 on a few levels down to your tier 6 and then tier 7, which you start to open it up a little bit more. And that's with the business builder. And like I said, I think, in my opinion, is that a majority of the agents are going to stick with the business solo model, the solo business builder model. Or they're going to be in a team structure where they're able to keep that business builder model, but still be on a team, and they'll have more. It'll be more beneficial to a team leader to have a wider variety or a wider opportunity to give a little bit more money in splits wise, if that makes sense. But you can see on the rev share model, all the way down, it really starts to open back up at 6 and 7 again, and you're back at $1,500 per capping agent on your 7th level as well.
Right. Okay. And you don't have to unlock tiers with LPT, right? All 7 tiers are automatically unlocked. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And so just so I'm understanding this correctly, so LPT would take up to 50% of any commission and give that back to the upline in the form of revenue share. And then this is like 31% of the 50%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I understand it.
So, okay. So I'm guessing if I add up this whole column, actually, no, that adds up to more than 50% if I add up this whole column.
Yeah, it actually does.
Yeah. Okay. But cool, man. Thank you. Yeah. So let me kind of show the real broker revenue share model. So, I think that both companies were trying to solve an issue that was at, let's just say at EXP. At EXP, their revenue share model, it benefits the people at the very top, and the people down below, is not as rewarding for a lot of them. And so LPT tried to solve that problem by just unlocking all 7 of your tiers. And Real's taken a different approach to that. And what we've done instead is that we realized that very few agents ever receive anything on the 6th and 7th tier. So we pretty much just eliminated those altogether. And instead, we pay out a lot more on our first 5 tiers of revenue share. So I think, on our first 5 tiers, we probably pay out the most than any other company. However, you do need to unlock those tiers. And so ours is, I think, pretty simple. Anybody that you directly bring into the company, you'll earn 5% of every commission that they earn until they cap. And with a $12,000 a year cap, that means that you can earn up to $4,000 a year for a capping agent. And like I said before, it takes about 7 transactions to cap on average. Anybody in your tier 2, it's 4% until they cap, which is $3,200 a year, and then 3% until they cap, which is $2,400 a year, 2% until they cap $1,600 a year, and then just 1% until they cap $800 a year. So I do like how simple this is: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Now, in order to unlock your different tier benefits, you need to have producing agents in your tier 1. And at Real, we consider somebody a producing agent if they have to earn at least a $3,000 commission every 6 months. So pretty easy benchmark to meet. And if you get referrals in, if you're a referral agent and you get referral checks in, that counts as being producing. If you're a team leader and you're getting team leader commissions coming in, that counts. Or if you just work with rentals, you could just be a rental agent, and that counts as to qualify as a producing agent. So your tier 1's automatically unlocked. Your tier 2, they're actually changing this to be 5 producing agents instead of 10 producing agents to unlock your tier 2 benefits. And then your tier 3 benefits, you need 15 producing agents, then 20 producing agents, and then 25 producing agents to unlock your tier 5. And so, yeah, I think our revenue share program is pretty simple, which I like. Now, there are some unique features that we have here as well. So like I was saying, to unlock your tiers, you need to have producing agents in your tier 1, but you also need to be a producing agent in order to receive rev share. And so that just means earning at least $3,000 commission every 6 months. And like I said earlier, we have a retirement plan now where if you're a producing agent for 3 years, you can step out of production and you'll receive 60% of your rev share indefinitely. If you're a producing agent for 4 years, you'll receive 80% of your rev share indefinitely. And if you're a producing agent for 5 years, you receive 100% of your rev share indefinitely. You can step out of production. Our rev share is also willable as well. And it's the person you will it to doesn't have to be a real estate agent. You can leave it to your child. My son's autistic and he's 8 years old, and he's who I designated as my, designation dependent, I guess, for who would receive my rev share if something happened to me. And then something kind of unique is that we also have co-sponsorship here at Real Broker, where an agent joining can put 2 different people down as their sponsor into the company. And what I like about this is, 1, it's going to spread the wealth around more. It's going to be more agents going to receive some rev share because of this. 2, it's going to eliminate the focus on, hey, whose upline are you in? Because now you're going to have 2 different uplines. And 3, we know that oftentimes when agents join a company, they're talking to multiple people at the company, right? They want to get feedback from multiple people. And it's a very real thing that agents will get analysis paralysis. And maybe they're too scared to join because they don't want somebody mad at them for not putting them down as a sponsor. This kind of eliminates some of that anxiety, having co-sponsorship and being able to put 2 people down. How I use this oftentimes is I'll have a brand new agent reach out to me, never sold a transaction before, and I say, great, let me find you a local sponsor, somebody in your market. They can be your co-sponsor, and that way they can help you out with those local information. So I probably have 20, 30 co-sponsorships that I've done with the company so far, and I'm a big fan of that model.
Nice. We just noteworthy. We just adapted that as well.
Oh, cool.
So we're on the co-sponsor model now, which is fantastic, because I think that being a newer company that doesn't necessarily, a lot of the agents coming in, a majority of the agents coming in didn't understand the rev share model or the attraction model. And so it became very competitive very quickly. And I would see somebody join the company, and then it would sever relationships with maybe that somebody knew that person also. And so this co-sponsorship has kind of opened those doors. I've already done 2 myself with an agent, and somebody reached out to me and it was, hey, who wants to be on a team? I looked around in Nashville. I found him. Talked to the team leader. We decided, hey, like I didn't have to offer it. This guy was already going to sign. He just wanted to work with somebody. I was like, hey, look, to incentivize you to take better care, why don't we split this guy, and take co-sponsorship, and we'll present it to the recruit, to the kid we were attracting. And he's like, I love that because I get 2 of you guys. And so it's just opened up a complete different attitude towards recruiting, attraction, however you want to frame it. Most people hate to recruit, but they like to attract. It's the same thing. However, it's just the word you like to choose. And recently, same thing. That same team leader in Nashville reached out to me and said, hey, got a girl struggling in Austin, need somebody to plug into. You want to co-sponsor? And I was like, I'm down. She came into my office. We talked for about an hour and a half, and she signed me up. And so there's I don't think there's any downside to that. And so I'm happy to see that you guys do that as well, and that you had the same positive experience I've had.
Yeah, I don't think there's any downside to it either. And I think it, like you pointed out, it has a great impact on the culture of the company.
Yeah.
I had somebody recently, I hopped on a video call with them. They reached out to me, I hopped on a call, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm also, was really following such and such down in Texas. I was thinking about reaching out to her. I was like, hey, she's a friend of mine. That's great, man. I'll tell you what, I'll reach out to her. I'll have her call you directly. And then if you like it, you can put both of us down as a sponsor. And so then both of us were kind of working, trying to get this guy to join the company. So it really incentivizes collaboration and, has a big impact on the community. So while we're talking about kind of rev share and recruiting, does LPT have restrictions on what they can do for recruiting? Are there any restrictions?
Yeah, we're not necessarily allowed to give anything of value per se, so I can't give you a Rolex for joining over here or anything, it's just, but you can, there's a lot of, we know the other model out there, right? So there's a real model, our model, and then, EXP's model. EXP got really big, really fast after 10 years in the business. So they had hockey stick growth back in 2019 and on, but came with that was rev share groups, right? So somebody that created a great, in a sense, a mousetrap to bring you in and really kind of just, in a sense, pour into you, but give you the tools necessary, plug into this and you get this nifty little download of FSBO expired scripts, whatever else. We can't really do any of that. They really frown upon it. They really want it to be attraction based. They wanted people to be interested in the company off of merit, and people that want to sell real estate. They want you to attract naturally. Someone sees you successful and says, hey, I want to plug into that. Tell me more about that. They like what they hear and move on. So I think it's more of a precaution, like, hey, don't go offering that you have this great plan, and if you plug into it, you get all these freebies. Don't do that. However, if someone plugs into your rev share group, of course you can pour into them and help them sell more real estate and provide them with certain documents that would help them. But you can't make a landing page saying, if you join me, I'll give you this. You can't join my video academy and I'll give you, the scripts for 100 of the most top producing YouTube videos are out there. You can't do that type of thing. Make sense?
Yeah. So, we have a very similar policy, and Real's actually pretty strict about it. There's no gray area with it, and that, we can't promise anything of value to have somebody put our name down as a sponsor, including coaching or software or training. And we want to get away from that model of, you put me down and you get all my exclusive training and all that stuff. And, it doesn't mean that we can't, build relationships with our downlines and help them out. I built a lot of great relationships with people in my downline and my upline. And, we collaborate, but you just can't explicitly promise anything for that. And again, that has a really big impact on the culture, because when an agent provides training, it's to everybody in the company, not just the people, in their downline. And then we also have some other restrictions. So you can't do kind of these bait and switch trainings that other companies do. You can't post job postings on Indeed. You can't run ads, paid ads, in order to attract or in order to try to recruit people. You can't cold call agents. So they're really trying to protect the culture, and they have quite a few restrictions around that recruiting. And they take it pretty seriously. I had an agent that joined me And within the first 6 months of the company, he built a downline of 50 people that he's brought into the company. But he's doing it the wrong way. He kept breaking these rules. He's making Indeed postings and promising people all this stuff. They put his name down. And Real, after several warnings, Real actually kicked him out of the company for doing that, despite him being a big builder and building a downline. I was, I'm happy to see Real protect their culture. I just wish this guy would have gotten his act together and stopped doing all that stuff. Since he was in my downline. But yeah, Real takes that pretty seriously. And we're not afraid to kick people out who kind of violate those rules. But it sounds like we're pretty in line, the two companies.
Yeah, let me piggyback on that. So you did a way better job articulating the rule here. And really they're almost identical. So, I mean, everything you just presented out is just, we can't promise anything of value. So you nailed it. You just articulated way better than I did on that one.
That's all right. I do these videos all the time. That's why.
Yeah. I figured.
So let's go into like training. Training is obviously really important for a lot of agents. What's the training look like? At LPT, how is it? Is it a website? Is it a program? How do you guys handle your training there?
It's not necessarily a program. We do have mentorship programs here and LPT. And so you can sign on with a certain mentor. That person can really kind of train you and guide you through whether it's going to be, your marketing, building your business, how to actually write a contract, things like that. There's definitely online classes for it. Being a cloud-based brokerage that's located in different states, the libraries are building inside the training world of Texas specific, Florida specific, Nevada specific training. But there's always, just like any cloud-based brokerage, is one of the great things that we have are the tools of the online training that have been recorded. And so we have that online library that's available to you 24/7. So if you want to learn how to write a Texas 1-4 contract and you don't know how, and it's a weekend and nobody's around to teach you and you didn't sign up for a mentor program or whatever else, you can get in there and verbatim learn how to write the darn contract, where you can take certain marketing classes. We have everything from basic, baseline marketing all the way up to how to be a luxury agent, and that mentorship right there, they teach you how to dress. They teach you, and there's no guessing game. It's like, you're not going to show up looking like a slouch to a $2.5 million listing. If you're going to sell luxury, let's get into it. They take it serious and they train you, and you can do that all online, in person. But every day I'm seeing something new pop into the catalog. I get the emails all the time that so-and-so is starting a video academy, a 90-day challenge, things like that. And that's located within LPT, which we have something called LPT Connect, which is the back end of our software, proprietary to us, has our whole library, our knowledge base where we can find all the information for every brokerage of the state, every mentor, has a whole training catalog, support systems where we can call, start a ticket, text, or even chat real time with somebody. So all that's located in the back of us, but that's where you find a majority of the training. So it's all there for you, but typically it's up to the agent to plug in.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Yeah. And so Real, we have a platform similar to that. We call it the Real Academy. And let me pull that up real quick. And so the Real Academy is where we house our training, and we have over 200 online classes that agents get instant access to as soon as they join the company. I've even got my own training in here all about YouTube. I have my own course in there. And, with the elite agent program, the part of that requirement is that you kind of give training in order to fully qualify for the cultural award. And so that really incentivizes a lot of our top producers to give training and kind of give back to that community. I'm personally never going to hit elite agent. I'm not really trying, but nonetheless, like, I own stock and I have revenue share in the company. So I give back to the community whenever I can. So I got my own training in there. And then I have a monthly mastermind, which I host as well. And we have several of these really cool masterminds. We have several weekly masterminds, which I really love, where they pick a topic and they get 30, 40, 50 people on a Zoom call and, just kind of mastermind about a specific topic. So I do a monthly YouTube mastermind, and we have a lot of these masterminds that go on every month and every week. And so we have about over 30 live streams every single week, covering all sorts of different things, from new agent starter series, to Facebook ads, niche marketing, cold calling, the prospecting, the sphere of influence, a huge variety of training here. And then what I really love is that we have Sharon Shavatza. He is the president of Real Broker. He was just appointed president, maybe about a year and a half ago. And this guy's amazing. He is a legit business mogul.
He's a sharp guy.
Yeah, I love Sharon. And he goes around the country, gives these big presentations and training events. And he does a lot of it. Now he's the president of Real. So he does a lot of really high level exclusive training just for Real agents. And every time there's a training by Sharon, I tell everybody to go flock to that training. And everything's done in the web browser on that website. And so the great thing is you can access it all right here on your phone as well. So while you're driving, you can listen to a live stream or listen to a past class, something like that. So I think training, I'm really happy with the training that we have here at Real. So the next thing I want to talk to you about was technology, right? These are both technology-based companies. Technology is really important to agents today. Can you talk a little bit about what the technology, different pieces of tech are that agents get access to when they join?
So right off the bat, everybody's always worried about what a website, right? So our website CRM is powered by Chime, which has now switched their name to Lofty. And so more of a SaaS type of model here when it comes to the CRM. Chime is the basic things you always hear about all these CRM/website hosts they're robust and they're full of, Chime does the job. If you plug in a Chime and you live in your database and your CRM and you get traffic to your website, you can certainly cultivate organic leads. So it's a good tool if you use it.
And is that the full version of Chime? Are there any restrictions on that version of Chime?
It's a watered down version. It's a subdomain.
Okay.
And so you won't, if I mask it with, davesnowberger.com, it'll certainly send you over to that site, but then you'll see davesnowberger.lptrealty.com or whatever it is, right? So it's a subdomain of the domain. So you get most of the features without a little of the features that are, I would say, at scale. But for the business builder model, it's really what you need. You don't need anything more than what they have to offer until you're really ready to scale your business. Then you can look at the options. And it's more of like, in a sense, a plug and play style. If I want this, I can turn this version of Chime on, or if I want the full suite, I can do this version. So those are there. I think that's pretty much with anyone that's got their, like a SaaS technology versus their own technology like KW, you get the full boat, right? And so, but there's always add-ons you can spend inside of there. But yeah, so it's a subdomain that they offer. Okay,
cool. And what else do you got?
So Listing Power Tools, LPT was built off the Listing Power Tools. This goes two-way with the technology. So a lot of the Listing Power Tools is online with certain campaigns that can leverage pay-per-click, Facebook ads, Bing ads, which is still pay-per-click. But are you familiar with the LPT, the Listing Power Tools?
I was with Keller Williams, and they used to have the Listing Power Tool presentations in the bold classes. And I signed up for it a couple of years back. I did it for about a year or so.
It's not bad. I have 2 listings right now where I've used the presentation with the actual tangible marketing, and I think that it really supplements what you do and what you bring to the table of not just your professionalism. And then we all present ourselves these days as kind of being like the digital mayor of our areas and how we get eyeballs on properties digitally through Facebook ads, through just capturing attention through YouTube or whatever else. This is something that we can take into a listing appointment or an open house, or even working with buyers, when we're trying to maybe prospect we have a prospecting pack as well, right? So it's tangible, something you can hold in your hand, and it is high quality print with high quality details that, is going to be very informative on the 7 seconds down to the trash can or recycle bin when they're getting rid of it. Right. But it's something that you can do with door hangers. It's got cards, business cards. It's got the multi-fold outs that have not just information about the neighborhood, but information about the community, the area, the restaurants, the walking scores, what all the whole community has to offer. So I like that part of it. Typically people think that print media is dead. I don't think it will ever be dead, because it is something tangible, an actual prospective customer or client can hold in their hands and say, like, actually, this is pretty cool. and it ties with your presentation of how you can capture attention digitally, or in the world of social media, if that's the way you do it. Supplemented by this, it's a win-win. So I've always liked the listing power tools. There's been other systems out there I've never bought into, because why? They cost too much money. With listing power tools with us, we get it free on every single listing. And so all we have to do is pay for the shipping, which works out to be like 27 or 30 bucks. Okay. But the typical baseline package is like $99. So I've been leveraging it in for sale by owners and expireds, and that's a different conversation. But that all can be related to digitally as well. So it ties your traffic back into you. Each agent over here also gets a unique phone number to themselves that ties into all your LPT marketing, whether it's online or print. And so it comes with a certain phone number. So every listing you take, it would be text this number, then put in 1003, and it will send you the whole upwork of our house. Once we get that back, that's our lead. It feeds over into our CRM, the information there, and now comes right to our phone on our CRM. We can hit as a lead, say, hey, looks like you're in 13 Banana Street. Let's talk a little bit more. So that's a little bit more technology crammed into there. That, in a sense, is a little bit older technology. However, no one at the high level was really using it. They weren't leveraging it to the fullest. And so LPT Connect, I've already talked about that. It's the operations tool. It's one portal to manage everything. We integrated Dotloop, integrated Desi Designer is what we call it. So it's Desi AI. And what that is, I like to call it a plug and post model, to where we get in, we put our headshot, we fill out our information, our license number, our emails, all that good stuff, our website, and then it spits out all this marketing information for us. It's how we design our signs. It's how we design our business cards that you see here. It gives you about 8 different designs from business cards, and then also freedom of color when it comes to this too. You can choose any color you want to roll with. If you want to do camo or tie-dye or whatever, you can build your brand however you want to build it inside of LPT. You just have to stick to your state and local guidelines, and then I mentioned Dotloop. So we use Dotloop instead of the one we used at EXP. I can't even remember the name.
Skyslope.
There you go. We're using Dotloop for everything. And so that's our hub for our transaction management. So it lives inside of there. And then on each transaction that you start, each loop you start, there's 2 or 3 different compliance people inside there that are watching your documents all the way through. So there's no forgetting that you haven't submitted this, so you're not going to get your DA, your distribution authorization, on time to receive your pay, right? So that's a pretty good one. I've never used Dotloop to house all my documents before. I just use it as an e-signer. And so now I use it for everything. And I know people have their opinions about Dotloop. However, it's easy. To me, it's amplified, which means they've made the Apple phone just as easy as possible, where you can't screw it up, the iPhone. And it's the same thing with Dotloop. Like clients, new agents, those agents that sit around and say, well, I just don't know technology. It's like nobody can really mess this one up. Dotloop has made it so easy to use. So that's always the benefits of not only just the technology, but making it as user-friendly as possible. Really, that kind of wraps up from there. But one of the most is the Chime CRM, which is now Lofty. I never like to go into that because it just confuses. Why would they change their name?
I don't know why they changed it. Chime was perfectly fine.
Well, there's a credit card. There's a bank out there named Chime, and they grew at scale way bigger than the real estate CRM. And so even though Chime CRM was apparently around longer, Chime Bank came along and said, we're worth a lot more money. So I don't know if they got incentivized to drop the name or were forced to drop the name. I would hope the incentivized helped them. But, other than that, it's the technology you're going to bring to the business also and leverage. So we give you the baseline technology. It's about $11,500. I've heard it presented as a freebies you get with building, and you get in the business builder model or the rev share model.
Cool. All right. Yeah. I mean, I'll kind of give a brief overview of the tech that we have here at Real. So I think our technology is really where we shine. We won a Fast Company Design Award last year for our technology. We won Inman Innovator of the Year Award for 2023 for our technology. And kind of at a core, we have what we call Rezen. And Rezen is kind of our online dashboard. You're going to see all the information about your entire business. And it's also where you submit your contracts, to your broker. And we used to use SkySlope when I joined in 2021. But our tech team here, led by Pritesh Damani, that's our chief technology officer, he designed our own program very similar to SkySlope. It kind of based off of that, where it has you submit individual forms and your broker can review it and leave comments. But they just made a lot of improvements to that design by having their own software. One of the things I like is that every file that you have, there's an automatic chat dialogue that opens up with your broker and their team, so they can ask you questions, you can ask them questions, and all about that file. All that chat gets saved with the transaction. And now Rezen, we also have a agent app, and we call that Rezen. And the agent app is amazing and has been a complete game changer. Most agents I know, log into this thing daily, and it gives you, again, all the information about your entire business right here on the agent app, including how close you are to capping, how many transactions you've had, the cycle, your rev share numbers. You can see your entire downline in here. And what I really love is that every transaction that you have, you can see the entire file right here on your app and all the details of that file, including the co-op agent's contact information, the title company's contact information. So if you ever are driving and like, crap, I need to call a title company for that one transaction, all that information is literally saved right here on your agent app for that specific transaction. You can see the breakdown of your commission. So the agent app is by far my favorite piece of technology. We also have a support tab in here as well. And for support, you can email support, or you can call the 24/7 call center that we have down at the bottom. We also have, they've created their own digital signature programs, similar to Loop, SkySlope. We call it Real Signature, where we can send out contracts that get signed by our clients. And you can do that right there on your phone as well. So you're driving, you get an addendum, you can download it on your phone, upload it a Real Signature, send it off to your clients to get a signature all right from your phone. Within Rezen, you'll also find Real Mortgage and Real Title as well. So Real Broker has their own title company and mortgage company, which they're rolling out with. And they're also rolling out with the consumer app right now. They launched it in Q4, and they're going to make improvements to it in this quarter and next quarter. And the real vision for the company is to redesign the experience for the consumer. And that really revolves around the consumer app. And so if they have a Real Broker agent, a Real Broker title company, and a Real Broker mortgage company, they're going to get updates from all three of those companies on the consumer app. And so the consumer app is really for after they get under contract, and it's just going to be kind of a roadmap of where they're at in that transaction and give them updates and educate them on what the next step is. So they're really trying to redefine that consumer experience with the consumer app. And they just launched that in Q4 of last year. They also launched an AI assistant. So essentially using the ChatGPT technology, but because we own all our own technology, own our own version of SkySlope, you can ask it like, hey, what is my average commission? And with ChatGPT, you can feed it specific data, specific documents, and then you can ask it to tell you, answer questions about that. And so it can look through your own transaction, your own business, tell you when your next closing is, tell you when your average commission is. And so we kind of have this cool AI assistant based on that. And we're giving that to the consumer as well in the consumer app. And then we also have a partnership with Chime. And so Chime is not completely free at Real. If you want to opt into it, it's $40 a month. But my understanding is that it's the full version of Chime that's typically $500 a month. So I've had several agents that were paying $500 a month, so $6,000 a year for Chime, and they came over to Real largely to get it for $40 a month. And yeah, Chime's one of the best CRMs and websites in the entire industry, or Lofty is. So you get access to that for $40 a month if you want it. I like that they make it optional, because some people come over and they've had a Boomtown website for 10 years and they don't want to switch, So that's optional. And then as far as technology, I think we got a few other things. We got a marketing center where you can get print marketing made up and mailed to you, a design center, swag stores. We're launching what we're calling the Real Wallet in Q1 of this year, which I'm very excited about. And with the Real wallet is going to come a Real debit card and a Real credit card. And kind of the idea is that when you get paid a commission, you can have that go into the Real wallet. And if you keep it there, Real will pay you a interest on that, that money. And if you use the debit card, the Real debit card, you'll earn points on that debit card, which will pay down your cap and pay down the fees that you pay into the company. And so all this, yeah, it's super interesting. And then with the Real credit card that's coming out, it's kind of in the technology field. Let's say you're projected to make $40,000 in rev share this year, or you have $20,000 in stock in the company. They can use those assets as collateral to lend you a line of credit on the Real credit card. So if a big brokerage comes over, they can give them a $20,000 line of credit to help with that transition. And individual agents can get credit from that as well. Yeah. So that's what I really love about this company, is that they're constantly innovating and trying new things and pushing the envelope. And our technology is, I think, really where we shine with that. And I think I covered most of the technology that we have there.
And I don't think any doubt, as you speak, you jar my memory of other things that we have to offer, right? But I won't backtrack to all those. But I think it's like any brokerage. That's right now we're in growth phase, and as soon as we're comfortable with our growth, I think that Robert Palmer is the founder of the company. He's an innovator himself, right? And so he's a technologist, to where he's created like our back of the house LPT Connect. That's something that he designed. The Desi AI designer that does most of our print marketing and digital marketing is a place where we just plug and post. Like I said, made it really easy, simple AI style technology without the supported ChatGPT. So more of it's I don't know. I don't think it's using a true AI model to do that. However, that's a very catchy one. But the one thing I did want to mention also was the back of the house. We have something very similar to y'all. Where's my camera? There it is right there. But the LPT Connect is all Palm driven as well. So dot loop's integrated in here as well, like I was saying. But you can look at, anything from your downline, get support, community forums you want to be a part of. Marketing, so your whole marketing suite's in here as well, so you can design everything from here, add a picture, you can do a little headshot, a little selfie real quick, get it uploaded to whatever marketing you want to do. And then one of the last ones that was the kind of cool is the billboards that we have. So they've strategically positioned billboards all over the country in certain markets that once we start closing transactions, it's just an added benefit to the buyer, to the agent, because their face gets put up there and it says like, congratulations, and this address closed, or congratulations on capping, and welcome this new agent style thing. So that was always pretty cool that I wanted to mention. I'm sure I mentioned some of these things because I think some of the top brass of LPT will watch this video and be like, you blew it, you didn't say this, and I'm like, well, Malcolm's done this a few times. This is my first time really kind of presenting it online. I talk to people all the time about it. However, you've asked some pretty specific questions, so I hope I've covered those for everybody that's watching.
Yeah, man, I think you did a good job, and we can come back another 6 months from now. I'm sure everything will be different at both companies. And do you guys use Workplace in LPT?
We don't.
Okay.
We don't. So right now we're utilizing Facebook groups. So one thing that kind of racks my head is that they started a LPT official group, right? And so that was in Florida. The brokerage was founded in Florida. So it's mostly Florida agents, and now it's grown to thousands of agents, but you still have like those posts of, can anybody do my open house? And then there's no geographic clue, like where you want an open house done. So, but it's very specific, and it seems like Florida. So I started the Texas group. So I have the Texas LPT agents. And so we're just leveraging the Facebook groups right now until we do something like a Workplace. But last I heard, he was building a back of the house online community for us as well. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. Building tech is always tricky, right? And it's you can build the tech, but are the people going to use it, right? So I think with Workplace, when I was with EXP, not a lot of people bought into the Workplace side of it. But then over time, it started to pick up steam that was kind of the place to hang out. EXP wise was in Workplace, professionally wise, and find, solutions or masterminds or, new promotions come into the market. So right now we would just rely on the mothership of the big Facebook page in Florida, and then our local markets. I know that Nevada has one. I'm sure every state has one by now, and then they're going city specific as well. I got invited to a San Antonio one. I'm in the Austin one. I know there's a Dallas group, so it's going down the funnel and getting smaller. But to answer your question, no.
Okay. Well,
we don't have workplace.
I'll add that to our list of technology as well. I forget that one. So workplace, and for anybody not familiar with it, workplace was created by Facebook. It looks just like Facebook, but it's only people within your organization. So it's essentially like Facebook, but only real estate agents within Real. And that's really how you can tap into the community that we have here at Real, which is a lot of value as well. All right, so to kind of wrap things up, what's your favorite thing about being at LPT?
Right now, it was such a new place, right? So I think that every new brokerage coming in has its opportunity to pick up a couple people that might have the true entrepreneurial spirit and can kind of be recognized as a high level collaborator. And so I'm seeing a lot of those, bigger names that might do a lot of high end marketing or have high end groups that I can plug into and be a part of. And that's probably the most exciting thing. I joined the company within, I believe there was less than 2,000 people, maybe less than 1,500 people. And so you can see that rapid growth. If that was just 7 months ago, coming on 8 months ago, what's this growth look like? We're close to 10,000. I know we are. So what's that look like? So that helps so much with like building referrals and building credibility throughout the whole organization. That's been my favorite thing is really being one of the early adapters and kind of being able to put insert myself into the high level conversations that are happening to build the company. Mm-hmm. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, same thing here. Real was 2,000 agents when I joined, and it's been so cool to watch it grow, but also help shape it and mold it and kind of set the tone for the culture here. And so for me, I guess I'd say, my favorite thing about Real is just the culture and the community of the company. I think we got an amazing culture. I love that our culture is about being kind and about collaboration. I do a lot of collaborations with agents like this within Real. We go on each other's podcasts all the time. And, I think just like innovation is part of our culture, part of the leadership culture. So we're constantly innovating and trying new things and really pushing the envelope. And we just got an awesome community here. And that's kind of my favorite things about being an agent here. So Dave, if anybody's interested in LPT, they wanted to reach out to you, get some more information, what's the best way to reach you?
Easy enough. DaveSnowberger.com. Take a look at we have the whole model presented on there. You can read about it. If it's interest, it asks you to throw your name in there. I receive your phone number or your email. We set up a time to talk. We have this. I hop on StreamYard and we do a quick little presentation. I show you. Really, I just want to know what are you looking for? What value are you seeking? And sometimes I've been known to push people over to I would check out this person or this brokerage instead of this one. This one might not be for you, and I can get a better idea of them. But DaveSnowberger.com is the easiest way. If not, just text me 512-773-6461. That's my real number. Comes to my real phone, and love to have a conversation with you. Love to help you wherever I can.
Perfect. And if anybody out there wants to learn more about Real Broker, I'd love to hop on a video call with you. I have a link down in the description below where you can get access to my calendar and select a date and time that works for you. Or you shoot me an email at malcolm@livinginmaryland.com. Well, Dave, man, I really appreciate your time. It takes some guts coming on, a channel like this, but I think you did a good job kind of representing LPT, and I appreciate it.
Perfect, man. Thanks for having me. I do appreciate it.